It's Raiders mock draft time here on the Raiders Report. I'm Mitchell Renz, host of this show, and I ran a PFF mock draft simulator after NFL free agency. If there has been one video that I have been getting requested by literally daily, it's Mitch, can you please do an updated Raiders mock draft after NFL free agency? Now, here's the thing. The reason why that I wanted to do this is because I haven't put out a mock draft since the Geno Smith trade, which as it stands right now, we have 9 total picks. On top of that, once the comp picks became officially official, that also made all of the Raiders picks officially official. So as it stands right now, you got to pick in every single round, 3 in round 6, and we lost that 3rd round pick because, again, the Raiders went out and they acquired Geno Smith from the Seattle Seahawks. I should make note of this. This is a mock draft that I would want to do. This is a mock for the silver and black. Not what I think Pete Carroll would do, not what I think John Spytek would do, though I think both of those guys would be pretty fired up if this was actually to go down. If you do find yourself looking for more Raiders draft content, more mock draft content, make sure you're subscribed. I thought, did a pretty solid job covering free agency last week, over 30 hours of live content. If you want that exact same type of mentality, the closer and closer we get to the draft, I promise you, nobody's going to provide more draft videos around the Raiders than this channel right here. So the first 5 picks in this mock draft were as followed. Abdul Carter, Cam Ward, Armin Membow, Travis Hunter, Tyler Warren goes off the board. So I was sitting there, and I'm not going to lie to you, I was looking at Tetairoa McMillan. I was looking at Mason Graham. I was looking at Ashton Jeanty. I was looking at Will Campbell. The Raiders, to me, could have gone a lot of different ways. But you know what? I saw that I did have a trade available. So here was my question to all of y'all. What would you have done if you would have been in my shoes? Would you have picked T-Mac type TM? Would you have gone with the running back out of Boise, Ashton Jeanty? Give me an AJ down in the comments. If you would have went with Mason Graham, the defensive tackle out of Michigan, type MG. If you want to type trade back, because guess what? I ended up trading back in this mock draft, so I'm going to type my TB. And the 4 people that were looking to move up with the Raiders were the Panthers at 8, the Cowboys at 12, the Cardinals at 16, the Buccaneers at 19. I looked at all the trades that I could potentially have done, and the best one that I thought made the most sense for the Las Vegas Raiders was trading back with the Carolina Panthers at number 8. Here was the trade that ended up getting accepted. I swapped first-round picks, so we drop back 2 spots, go to 8. You get an extra second-round pick at number 57, and you get an extra 4th-round pick at 111. The Panthers, all I had to do was give them one of my comp picks in the 6th round at 213. So then, what ends up going down? Carolina Panthers, they end up taking Mason Graham, who there are a lot of people out there that think that he is one of the best defensive players on the board. Then at number 7, Will Campbell, offensive tackle for LSU. So I'm not going to lie, I love the way that this board fell to me. I was still able to either pick between Tetairoa McMillan or Ashton Jeanty, and because of that, I was able to get a player that I thought had a lot of good value. So before I show you who I ended up picking, here would be the updated picks that I have in this mock draft from start to finish. And if you follow the show a lot often, you'll know that I would really, really want the Raiders to trade back, just simply because of all the extra picks and talent, especially in the first 3 rounds of this class. After the first 3 rounds, I think you see a little bit of a talent drop-off. So with that being said, I'm going to go here with wide receiver out of Arizona, Tetairoa McMillan. I do believe if you had to pick between McMillan and Jeanty for the Raiders, I think that this organization would go with McMillan because of his relationship with Pete Carroll's son, Brennan Carroll, who was the offensive line coach at Arizona the past 3 years. Also, when our team at Chat Sports talked to McMillan at the Combine, he did say that he has a very good relationship with this Raiders coaching staff. Let's go to round 2, pick number 37, and a lot of talent started to fly off the board, and quite frankly, I was pretty surprised how much talent actually went off the board here with our next few picks. I ended up going with somebody that I've never taken in a mock draft, at least not to my knowledge. I've done a bunch on this show. I ended up going with safety Xavier Watts. This is somebody that met with the Raiders at the Combine. We know that the Raiders need a true center field free safety. I like the pick of Jeremy Chin. I like Isaiah Pola-Mao, but this team needs another safety, and they need somebody that they can trust in that secondary. I'll tell you what, 6 interceptions, 9 PBUs. You got a true ball hawk here in Xavier Watts. So far, I got Tetairoa McMillan, Xavier Watts, and now I got pick number 57 via the Carolina Panthers. I was really hoping that Trevion Henderson, that a Quinshon Judkins, that a Caleb Johnson would be available to me at 57. Here's the thing. All of those players were off the board. So I ended up going with somebody that I like, that I also know has a relationship. That is a key word this offseason for the Raiders. A relationship with Chip Kelly, a relationship with this coaching staff. And I'm going to go with Carson Swesinger, linebacker out of UCLA. I'll be real. I did not think that he was going to fall this late. This is somebody who I could see going right around pick number 50. He's one of the best, pure linebackers in this year's class, and pairing him, somebody that can actually cover. He's also just got a knack for being around the football, a little bit undersized, but can move really, really well. You put him next to somebody like a Landon Roberts, and then you get help from Jeremy Chin. You get a little bit of help from some of these other players that we brought in. This would be a really good duo at linebacker. So I got a wide receiver. I got a safety. I got a linebacker. Now coming up here is going to be pick number 68 in round 3. And essentially the way that I did this mock is based off of the roster that the Raiders currently have at the time that I'm making this video, Monday, March 17th. So I had to go with another running back here because I was getting really nervous that the running back value was starting to fade. I'm not kidding you. The amount of running backs that were drafted in this mock, especially in the top 60 picks. I mean, when Quinshon Judkins went in the mock, and I kind of wish I would have showed y'all, it was literally like running back, running back, running back. It kind of reminded me last season for the Raiders when we took DJ Glaze in the 3rd round, and they did that because of a run on offensive lineman. I like Dylan Sampson, and he is a thumper of a running back who's a lot better, I think, at catching the football than what he gets credit for. He's not quite as good in my book as a Quinshon Judkins, as a Caleb Johnson, but his patient running style, and again, he can hit a home run. Not a home run hitter, but he can hit a home run. You pair that with somebody who can hit a home run, Raheem Mostert, and I thought it was a good 1-2 punch that I think that this regime would like a lot. Let's go now to round 4, pick 108 here for the Raiders, and my biggest reason of trading back is being able to find value, because I am astonished. The more and more I look after round 4, after round 3, the depth here for a lot of important players does start to dwindle. I'm going to go with a cornerback that I like, and he's a ball hawk again. Definitely a little bit of an undersized player, but I like his mentality because if you liked Amik Robertson, and I was somebody that loved Amik Robertson because he had that dog in him. And when you listen to a Landon Roberts, when you listen to Lonnie Johnson Jr., Eric Stokes, all those players, when they talked at their press conference, they were a bunch of dogs, right? And a bunch of guys, Jeremy Chin, that are going to go out there and they're going to do the little things because they know it's going to be a big payout and the big scheme of things. So Jacob Parrish, I thought could be a good player to go in there, compete a little bit, definitely a little bit undersized, goes against some of the things that Pete Carroll looks at, but he was the best corner on the board, and he actually was the best player available on the board, which is why I ended up going with him in round 4, pick 108. I'll tell you how I round out this mock draft in just a moment, and I appreciate everyone that's always rocking out with their mock out here on the Raiders Report. If you want to rock with our sponsor, PrizePicks, go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Just make sure that you use code CLNS. If you're like, Mitch, what exactly is PrizePicks? Don't worry, I got you covered. PrizePicks is the best place to get real money sports action with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks. Also, for those of you that are watching this on Tuesday, PrizePicks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts, like Taco Tuesday. Each Tuesday, PrizePicks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value for your lineups. Download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. I'm telling you this right now. I love me some PrizePicks. So if anybody's wondering, Mitch, do the Raiders have any season long? They do, okay? Now, I got to let you know, this is not a lineup that you can hit submit on with PrizePicks. I just wanted to be able to show you that if you wanted to pick Geno Smith more or less on passing touchdowns, passing yards, you can. Brock Bowers, receiving yards, receiving touchdowns, you can. As it stands right now, these are the only season-long projections, more or lesses, that PrizePicks has around the silver and black. So if you're like, all right, well, we don't have Raiders football right now. March Madness, this might be my favorite time of the year for PrizePicks and sports in general. So one more time, it's easy, it's exciting. Daily fantasy sports made easy. Download the app today. Use code CLNS. Get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. Run your game. All right, let's go now to round 4, pick number 111 that we got from the Carolina Panthers in that trade. And I'm going to go with a project player, okay? I'm going to go with a project player that I heard some good stuff about over the weekend. His name is Chase Lundt. He is 6'7", he's 300 pounds, and this is going to be one of those offensive linemen. If you could get him in a weight room, an NFL weight room, and if he's able to put an extra 25, 30 pounds on, because he's skinny. Like, I know he's 300 pounds, but at 6'7", I'm telling y'all, he's a lot skinnier than what he needs to be, but he's coming off a good year, can play right tackle. I think he'd be an extra little bit of competition in there for somebody like a DJ Glaze. High upside, still pretty raw, but if you could put some weight on him, I don't know if this is going to be some of the, I shouldn't say that. He's not ready to start right now, but he could be somebody with the right technique, with the right coaching, could be somebody pretty damn good in 2 to 3 years from now. Let's go to round 5, pick 143 for the silver and black, and at this point in the draft, I'm looking for depth. I'm looking for how can I use this player either down the road or on special teams, and honestly, man, I love Kyle McCord, and I'm not afraid to admit it. To me, what makes the most sense for the Raiders is taking a quarterback on day 3, because unfortunately, there's not a single quarterback in round 1 not named Cam Ward that can't help you win right now. And if you know that any other quarterback, I don't care if it's Shedeur Sanders, Jackson Dart, Jalen Milroe, none of those quarterbacks are going to play in the first 2 years. This is not the Raiders' plan. The plan is to have a QB sit. McCord's got high upside, does have some Ohio State ties, and quite frankly, I think McCord is a better quarterback than somebody like Will Howard. I'll admit, I had an opportunity to take Shedeur Sanders at pick 37. I also had an opportunity to take Shedeur Sanders somewhere around, I could have traded up for him. He went like 54 overall in this mock. When you see how much Shedeur is continuously sliding and sliding, I don't think he's going to have a slide quite like Malik Willis did. But it wouldn't shock me if Shedeur does have a slide like Will Levis. Not out of the first round, but I do think he has a chance to slide down to pick 20, which might surprise a lot of people. So I know that the Raiders are interested in taking a quarterback. Doesn't mean that they're going to take a QB, which I can't even believe I'm saying, considering the fact of where we were just a few months ago. But this is a Raiders team that believes that they can win right now. And I know Geno was taking pictures with Shedeur Sanders over the weekend, but I got to know from the nation, what round will the Raiders draft a QB? Let me know down below. If I was a betting man, which I think y'all know that I am, I would say right now the most likely round that the Raiders take a quarterback in is round 4. And I say that because they'll have time to be able to plan, and that to me is the area of maybe where you could see a Jalen Milroe go. Maybe Milroe goes in round 3, but to me the Raiders, if they are smart, will wait until day 3 to take a quarterback. Let's go to round 6 now. Reminder, we only have 2 6th-round picks because in this mock draft, I ended up doing that trade with the Carolina Panthers, and if you didn't remember it, you can rewind and go see it, what I did. I decided here to go with another running back in Tahj Brooks, which it's not really the plan that I have, but I always tell myself I got to be flexible. I got to go in, and I want to try to get the best player available. I thought Tahj Brooks was the best player on the board here. Raheem Mostert, good home run hitter. Then you got Dylan Sampson, who is a good zone, patient, all-around player. For a guy like Tahj Brooks, this is the running back that I feel like in a lot of great Tom Brady offenses, they always had a pass-catching running back. Go look at what John Spytek was doing down there in Tampa Bay, adding a Bucky Irvin, adding somebody like a Rashad White. Tahj Brooks can do that, and when you turn on the tape, this guy actually might be one of the best pass-blocking running backs out of this rookie class, and that is extremely important for me in terms of value. So to me, what I did, I said, okay, I'm going to add Dylan Sampson, who's going to be able to run between the tackles. Raheem Mostert's going to be your home run threat for Chip Kelly. Tahj Brooks can catch the football, but he's also a really good pass protector, which is extremely important as a rookie. Let's go to another round 6 pick here for the silver and black, and I'm going to go with somebody that I just continuously go with in my mock drafts. It's going to be Oronde Gadsden, and anytime I try to take Kyle McCord, I kind of always pair him with him. He's a really good receiving tight end. He's a lesser version of an Evan Ingram at the college level. Also was somebody that we were able to talk to at the combine, had a good head on his shoulders, but 73 grabs for 934 yards. This might be a little bit of a concern for some people, but he's the tight end 3 then. I would have Brock Bowers as the 1. We'll see what ends up happening with Michael Mayer, but until the Michael Mayer stuff is totally silenced and we know for a fact that he's going to be back, I still think that the Raiders got to consider taking a tight end, which I did here a little bit later. Let's go to round 7, and this is going to be my final pick of this mock, and I need to be able to add somebody that can help me on special teams, but then also, I don't know if he's going to last to round 7. The value here was just, sometimes like I try not to take guys that I don't know if they're available in round 7, but at the same exact time, I got to be able to stick to my guns and go best player available. And Malachi Moore was just so clearly the best player on the board, at least on my board. 5'11", 70 tackles. He ended up meeting with the Raiders at the combine. 2 interceptions, 8 PBUs. And I know the Raiders already went out and they got an Xavier Watts. But the safety position is something that this organization has a lot of value in because they run 3 safety sets. They don't do 3 linebackers. They do 2 linebackers, 3 safeties, and Trey Taylor, Chris Smith. There's a lot of unknowns there, and we know that deep down. So if you go out and you get a Malachi Moore, you go out and you get an Xavier Watts, if those players materialize the way that I think that they could, you could see in 2 to 3 years that that's our new Trevon Merrick, Marcus Epps duo at the safety spot. I think when you bring in safeties, putting them together, creating that chemistry early on is really important. So please don't be afraid. Go grade my mock draft A, B, C, D, or F. Hell, if you made it this far in the video, you're only killing yourself by not dropping down a grade. And I only say that because I want y'all to give me your 2 cents. And if you also made it this far and you want me to grade your mock draft, don't be afraid. Slide in my DMs. I am a tough grader, and this is an honest grade. I ended up giving myself an A-. I like the value that I was able to find early on in some of those picks, but then the later and later it went, it started to get a little bit more frustrating. So an A- grade for me. I like the Sampson move. But if I could have got a better running back there, and if I could have got a little bit of extra value, just in a few of my other picks later on, I could have given myself an A+. But I'm telling you this right now, if it's draft night and this is how this Raiders team ends up drafting, we're doing the right things, which I think a lot of people should be fired up about.